Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Aaron Short here, and today is November 22nd. We're approaching Thanksgiving, and today I'm giving thanks because I'm joined by Maury Rutch. How you doing, Maury?
I'm doing very, very well.
He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. Need more time?
I'm looking at the eCam software, and there must have been an update because now I see myself in two screens, and I shouldn't be afraid that it's going live because I'm not in control of the show. But do you see that too?
I see you in one screen, and to be honest, that's more than enough.
Well, I'm trying to see myself in 5 screens, and it's never enough. That got me just a little distracted. Let me see if I can move it up. I don't want to look at myself twice.
Okay, I want you to be completely comfortable, so do what you need to do. And while you're doing that, I'll say hi to all our friends here.
Okay.
Philip Watson is here from a sunny Texas. We're very jealous, Phil. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you here. David Belcher is here. Good afternoon, everyone. Out on a job site today. Hope to catch the show later. Oh, what do you do, David? Are you in construction? And yes, remember, you can always watch these on replay. I posted the link to this in the John Mayer Facebook group. There's some Facebook groups just about John Mayer's gear. So I posted it in there. I'm hoping that they'll be watching later on as well. If they are, then hello. If you're watching the replay, hello from the past. Jim says, get 5 minutes early thinking I was first. Thanks, Philip. Yeah, oh, good point. Philip was first this week. Good job, Phil.
Where's David Belcher?
He is on the job site. And he was also working yesterday as well, but he still checked in. So thanks to your continued support, David. I appreciate it. Skip Russell says, checking in from Boston. Roeth says, hi all, I'm working in parallel, but I'll still have one ear listening to these great guys talking about great Martins. That's nice. Thank you. Very, very kind. Hey, Joe. That's how I remember your name. I link people's names to songs. I could never do that with Maury, but with Joe, it's easy to say, hey, Joe, how you doing? Evening all. And then Aaron Short says, welcome, please. Oh, it's me. Okay. Says, please click the like button. Have you noticed, Maury, the dislike button it's still there, but it doesn't reflect anymore if anyone's pressed it?
No.
Yeah, so now it says like and dislike. It used to say how many of each. Now it says like and dislike, but if someone presses dislike, then it doesn't clock it. It just still says dislike. And only the creator. It became
more popular. Oh, okay.
Only the. It's like Maury was like, finally. They stopped pressing dislike. You have to log into your account now to check how many dislikes you have. And if you're watching, no, you don't need to test it. I know it works. Actually, I haven't logged in to check. I don't check those stats. That's the one stat I'm not too worried about. Oh, there we go. Someone just gave me a down. The thing is, on eCam, I can still see it. So I still know. So thanks. Hey, thanks for testing that. You can undo it now. Anyway, Pooh Ninja says, throw some thumbs up. Yes, please do. Got one here from Joe. And Patsy Smith's in the UK. And Jim says, your performance of Spoon's riding back to Boston impressed me. I'm now trying to learn it. Me too, Jim. I'd like to set a collective goal. What's the word? Not competition. Assignment? I can't think of the right word. I think we should all try to learn some of Riding Back to Boston from Spoon Phillips, and then you can send it to me to play on the show if you want to, or just learn it for your own fun. I'm doing that too. I like that song. And Alan says, I love this song. Which one is that, Alan? Is that the October song? Roeth says, that tune is a lot of fun to play. Enjoy, and I look forward to hearing your cover of it. Colin says, greetings all from the UK. Dark now, but it was a blue sky day. Very nice. American Thanksgiving. My people call it Smallpox Blanket Thursday. I don't get it. Alan says, hello from a nearly new lockdown. Oh, sorry to hear that in North Germany. Sorry to hear that, Alan. Hope you're doing okay. Pooh Ninja says, I may not be able to afford a Martin right now, but I can afford to listen to Maury play one better than I can. Yep.
Well.
The content creator can see it, or just Tyler the creator? Tyler? Oh, Pooh, are you been on the space juice again? All right, so. Watch out for me. I have my coffee today in the Soundhole Sniffer mug.
Ooh.
Very nice. And let's talk about what's happening today. I'm surprised people have joined us because we have John Mayer guitars again. And I get a bit crazy when we have the John Mayer guitars on the show. So watch out for that. What we're going to do is we're going to compare the OMJM, which is part of the standard series, with a kind of recreation of the OM28 John Mayer that I used to own. All right? And we're going to compare them and see if there's any differences. So, as always, do grab the headphones like this. Headphones are suggested so you can really hear the differences. Make sure... Make sure... Oh, which guitar was that?
That was mine.
Okay, I hope so, because a ding on that won't matter. I saw a authentic, one of the Relic Authentics for sale the other day, Maury, and it said this guitar is in like new condition, and I just thought to myself, well, how would you ever know? How would you ever know?
Right.
It's in like new condition. So we're going to do our usual comparison where you can't see the guitars and play them back to back and see if there's any differences. Before we do it, Maury, tell us, please, what the actual differences are. They're both OM28s with Engelmann tops, but what are the differences that could cause them to sound different in the construction?
Well, we're going to go and do a little bit of a deep dive into history. The OMJM that we're comparing is the production model, the more recent simple dovetail version of the OMJM 28 custom that came before it. So the OMJM we have as a garden variety guitar from it's in the artist edition series. It's a simple dovetail with the Engelmann top. The other guitar we're going to play is a custom shop recreation of the original OM28 John Mayer, which was a full dovetail instrument. That's also got the Engelmann spruce top, but the biggest difference is the fact that it does not have the signature because we couldn't get that. It does have the dovetail neck joint, and they both have the Fishman pickup. So, we'll look at the specs, line by line as we go, but the big difference is dovetail custom shop versus simple dovetail production model. And if we play this OMJM and you like it, you can buy an OMJM anywhere, and it's going to sound like that. The custom shop instrument we're going to play in comparison to it, you can only find that here, and that is a custom shop reproduction of some people, including Aaron, used to own the original OM28JM, and that would be the modern equivalent, as long as you don't mind things missing with the signature. And there were some signature inlays on the headstock of the original on the bridge. Those aren't here as well. But this is basically what you can do, all you can do in 2021 to get the custom shop to build you what would have been called the original OM28JM.
You can also go on Reverb and find the original guitar for a mere $15,000.
Is that what they're fetching now?
No, actually, I'm. You know me. I'm always poking around on the internet, and I don't even see them anymore. When I sold mine, there was 3 or 4 that were floating around, and nowadays you don't even see them. I don't even know where they are anymore. Like they must just be locked away for like another 10 years, and I imagine the price will go up and up. So, that's a great guitar, and I do regret selling it, but I don't think I would ever spend over 10 grand on that when you can order a custom shop. I don't know. That's a tough call. I was going to say to you, Maury, on mine, the top had gone kind of orange like your guitar there. Why does that happen? Why does the color kind of change like that?
That's from sunlight. It's actually the lack of UV protection in some of the finishes on the Martin guitars. It allows the sunlight to bake it a beautiful, toasty, what would you call that? Amber, maybe? Or pumpkin orange? Yeah,
pumpkin.
It's the sun.
So can you do that? Can people if people put their guitars in the sunlight, will that turn the top? Will that make the top change color like that? I've never had a guitar long enough to do this myself.
You do need time. It will happen on most Martins, but yes, you can.
Yeah. Do you know how long it takes? Like, is it like 10 years?
No, I think mine started turning maybe after a few years, maybe 3.
Okay.
But you do play right from blonde to this. It was gradual.
You do play out in the sun a lot, don't you?
I do. Well, I used to. Yes.
All right. So let me just see. Oh, okay. Chalarism is here. Greetings from sunny but not warm. Give me all the full weather stats there. You should be a weatherman. Humidity inside is 48. That we got the heat on here now. It's getting really dry. You can feel it. I can feel it on my skin that it's dry. Although even though the humidity reader is saying like 48 here, 45, which is still okay, I can feel it's getting dry. So I've been turning the humidifiers on. And a quick update on the lamp. The lamp has died again. I will need to get another one. No, it's this the one I replaced the other one with is battery powered, so the battery's died, and I've used all my batteries up. So I need to go and buy a bulb for the other one because that plugs into the power. I know it's very important.
Can I play
stuff.
taps, or would that be a copyright strike?
Taps.
You know,
What's that?
For a funeral? Well, I can't play it because you might get in trouble.
Taps. I'm really confused. I think my mind today is so focused on comparing these guitars, everything's confusing me, which is absolutely fine. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to move over to you again, and I'm going to put the cover up. Let me just find it. Don't do anything. I want to make sure I can't see as well. There we go. And I've just so viewers know, I can't see either on my screen. I've moved the screen below, so I can't see either. So just like last week, we'll do the same thing again. We'll have Maury play the same thing on both guitars, and then we'll discuss what we think the differences are, and then we'll do a few more of those and see if we can guess which one is which. And we'll discuss the specs some more as we go. But yeah, let's get started with some playing.
Okay. Guitar number 1. Guitar number 2.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you very much. The guitars are put away.
Nicely played open chords there. Very nice. I had a comment last week that you should do more fingerstyle on the show. So get ready to play a full fingerstyle performance for us later on. Old says, hi everybody. Good to see you, Olds. Doc McFarlane says, let's talk guitars. How you doing, Doc? Mark Henry says, for your information, night shift sucks. Yeah, I can imagine, Mark. I never worked the night shift, but I was up until 3 a.m. the other day doing a recording, and that's not good. Ooh. Going to bed that late. Okay, so I thought there was quite a difference there, actually. I wasn't expecting a difference. We should start with this. Some of our viewers insist that the dovetail neck joint is very important to a Martin guitar. So could this be a good test of this? Since the biggest difference here, I think, is the neck joint.
This could be a great test of it because of exactly that, yes.
Right. The first, and we'll do a bit of history again. We've done so many videos about these guitars, but, might as well recap. The first OMJM had the Mortis and Tenon neck joint.
Yep.
They then changed it to a simple dovetail. I believe that also had a price increase as well, which you'd probably expect because it's a better neck joint. But the original guitar had the dovetail neck joint. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Maury, because my mind's a bit...
The original OM28JM did, yes.
When I say the original, I mean the OM28 John Mayer. That I'll say it one more time. I briefly owned it. Okay. I didn't make any videos on it, so you might think I'm lying, but I really did. And that's one thing I should have made a video on was that guitar. Okay, I get it. I know. Okay. Okay, anyway, that had the full dovetail. So aside from that, between the two guitars, I mean, one is what we call a standard. The OMJM is a standard series guitar, right? And the other one is a custom shop guitar.
I'll catch you on that terminology. It's not technically a standard series guitar. There's two ways to look at it. Where does Martin put it in the catalog as far as filing it? That doesn't matter as much. But what would the OMJM be if it wasn't John Mayer's name? It would really be in the 16 series.
Right, and we've spoke about this before. If you hunt around the forums, a lot of people say the OMJM is just a 16 series instrument. That sounds really negative to me because the 16 series, I'm not saying they're bad guitars, but the OMJM is priced at around, what is it now? 3,900, almost $4,000, right?
It's up there, yeah.
So for them to say it's like that, I mean, I guess they're talking about the neck joint, right? Because we do have the Engelmann top on this guitar, and the Engelmann is obviously an upgrade.
Yeah, when I categorize it into the 16 series, I mean that's where it would be, but it would be in a 16 series with a wonderfully upgraded top, probably choice tone woods on the back and sides compared to a 16, another 16 series guitar, and it's got a guide case as well. So when you look at it, other 16 series guitars are going to have most of the time a Sitka top. They're going to have I'll double check this, but I think the actual grading of the wood would come down a little bit. It's a gig bag instead of a case, and there's most of them have pickups, but this isn't like they took a D16 GT, slapped his name on it, and made it pricey. You get a really nice upgraded top and a good case as well, and you get an instrument that has narrow nut, which you can almost never find anymore, and a package that. Part of the reason Martin is interested in doing custom editions and signature models, you can get something just like that has a lot in common with another product, but those key differences you can't find somewhere else.
I would say that OMJM is almost a custom instrument, isn't it? Because it's got the narrow nut, it's got the Engelmann top. It's almost like, obviously it's an artist custom, but it's basically like a custom shop guitar in a way. I wonder why they didn't stick with the full dovetail neck joint though. On that guitar. That's the only thing that I really see as that's something I would say is questionable. What you got to remember with artist instruments is obviously the artist is getting paid their royalty for the instrument as well, which adds to the cost, and therefore they want to keep the cost down in general, don't they? So all these things factor in. But man, when I wasn't even a Martin fan or a John Mayer fan when they released the first OM28 John Mayer, but they were kind of affordable. I mean, okay, everything's relative, right? With time and pricing. But when they were released, they were kind of affordable, weren't they? So anyone that bought one back in the day was very. But we can say that about anything. Even his Fender Strat was $1,600, and it's the same thing because he moved to PRS. His Fender Strats, if you got one in mint condition now, you get between $2,000 and $3,000 for it. Probably. Wow. I mean, obviously everything's dependent on the market, but yeah, because you can't buy them anymore. And it was funny actually when he left Fender. I contacted the store. They said, yeah, we've got 10 of them in the warehouse. And that's another one of those stories where I'm like, oh, I should have bought all 10 of them. And then I mean, I'm not a reseller, but, should have bought all 10 of them and sat on them and then sold them in the future like people are doing with the 28. But anyway, that's another story. Let's see what people are saying of the sound. So Alan says, number 2 was more powerful. Number 1 was more sweet. McFarland, Dr. McFarland, he's a real doctor, but he's a doctor of tone. And he'll heal your soul with sweet tone. That's what his website says. Second one was darker. I get to see him cutting that out as a quote and putting it on his YouTube channel. So, Patsy Smith says, I like number 1 the best. Pooh Ninja says, the 16s. Old says, do you know if it is 16 series bracing? That's a good question.
I don't think so. I'll have to look that up.
Mark Henry says, isn't the Clapton 00028 priced about the same? The Eric Clapton 00028. Do you know offhand how much they are right now?
Similar. I can be looking up while you're talking, but
I've already found it. It's $200 cheaper actually. $200 cheaper for the Clapton. But
for a Clapton with the dovetail neck joint.
Yes, but you don't get the pickup, do you, in the Clapton? There's no pickup.
No Engelmann top, no.
Okay, so you do get a pickup in the OMJM. Whether that's your choice of pickup is another question, but it does have a pickup. So they're about the same if you factor in the cost of the pickup. Cholorism says 16s usually have satin back and sides also. Yeah, you're right. The point I was trying to make with that is if you're a customer and you jump on a forum and see that statement, I don't think that's really a fair statement myself. My only question is why they didn't just put the dovetail neck joint on the guitar to start with. But I mean, obviously it's obviously a cost-saving thing, but I don't know. Kooky says the second one was better. Hey Kooky, good to see you. I'm reading these before I give my opinion, just so I don't influence anybody. Not that I would influence anybody, but just in case I do. Hi, Aaron and Maury. I'm working again. Good to hear that, Lee. Working hard for his D True Love, which he'll be purchasing the next few months. For his true love, Rosanna, who's also here. Hi, Aaron and Maury. Happy Monday.
Hey, guys.
Trollerism says, I think a full dovetail costs $500 over the simple dovetail. Now, that's great info, and that is the question that I really need answered, isn't it? To tell what I'm talking about here with the why don't they do it. If it does indeed add $500 over the cost, I can't see them wanting to charge $4,500 for the OMJM. And like I said, we have to factor in things like John Mayer's got to get his cut as well, which is fair enough. That's his name on the guitar. So maybe that is the reason. It's possible. But then again, the Clapton has the dovetail neck joint, doesn't it? So make of that what you will. I don't know. I have no info on that stuff. Dr. McFarlane likes to get surgical with audio. There you go. And Corazon's here. I hope you're feeling well, Corazon. Listening from Yonkers, New York City. Very good. All right. I thought the first one sounded good, and then the second one I thought was fuller, bigger sounding. So, if I continue to come to that conclusion, I'm going to say that must be the dovetail neck joint I'm hearing. And if I'm wrong, the whole world's going to implode because the dovetail neck joint is better, right? I'm being a bit cheeky here, but I'm being serious as well. This is why I love this show, Maury, because we get to put a few things to rest, Are there any, before we continue, are there any differences here? You've got the same mic and the same effects on the guitars, everything's the same, but are the strings kind of the same strings and things like that? How close are we for this comparison?
The strings are exactly the same. The age is within a week of each other. They're both, I would say, almost brand new. The action at the 12th fret is exactly the same on both. So yeah, you're not hearing any influence from different strings or setup. Okay.
All right, good stuff. Let's go and play again, and then we'll look at some pictures after this one. Okay.
All right.
What's next? Fingerstyle?
Lots of fingerstyle, yep.
Okay, good.
Guitar number 1. Guitar number 2.
Great sustain on that second one.
Thank you.
I know what we should all collectively get Maury for the holidays.
Drunk?
Anyway, I was only half listening, so I was creating a poll. The poll is, are you a John Mayer fan? Answer one, and I need your answer, Maury. The first answer option is yes. The second option is no. And the third option is his body is a wonderland. Which would you choose?
C.
And I'm talking about the guitar body, of course. That's
what I thought, yes.
As is Maury. Yeah, the Engelman. Yeah. Love that Engelman. All right, so we'll see what people vote there. Joe says, this is bringing up a lot of great points here about the simple dovetail, the construction, the artist. You know, when you buy an artist model, you pay more money. You have their name on the guitar. It's bringing up a lot of good points here we can discuss. Joe says, no matter how good the guitar, I won't buy it if it has someone else's name inlaid somewhere on it. So on the OMJM, obviously you have his signature at the 12th fret, so, or wherever it is. But I'm just thinking what I think about that. I don't think it's ideal. I wouldn't like it if the name was really visible on it. Like if it was like Elvis Presley, I'd find that weird, you know, like on his guitars. Or even that new John Mayer guitar with John Mayer on it. I've said before, I'd like my name on it. And even that's a little bit, I have to think about that a few times. But the signature on a lot of these guitars is very minimal. I've got that Noel Gallagher guitar, and it's not obviously a Noel Gallagher guitar. But interestingly enough, it is... It's a J150, which costs more money than the J200 standard series, right? Some of these things, that honestly doesn't make sense to me. And I get that you're paying his royalty. I think that for me is a thing to bear in mind. The name, if it's visible, like the John Mayer signature, you don't really see that it says John Mayer, so that doesn't really concern me. But I get your point. A lot of people on forums are always saying, I don't want an artist model, I want to make my own artist model. I want to be the artist that makes the artist guitar. And that's why you might go and build a custom shop guitar, because you can do that. And that's certainly an option. If you're looking at these guitars, you can go and order your own guitar and put your own neck joint and top on it, whatever you want. So that's definitely worth considering. But then again, I know the OM... Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Could I ask a follow-up question against that? The people that, or the person that might have just recently said they don't like the signature, do you not like it because it says John Mayer, or do you not like it because it's obviously from a distance someone's signature? Like, I wonder if somebody's just, if it shows that it's anybody's special signature model, is that the turnoff, or is it per artist?
That is a good question. But then Kooky had a good answer. Even if the name is Martin, because Martin guitars have Martin on the headstock, right? So.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, that is a good point. But I get it. Whenever they release an artist model guitar, everyone always jumps on Facebook and says, I don't want an artist guitar, I want my own guitar. And I do understand what they're saying. But before you interrupted me, Maury, I was going to say they sold a lot. I know the OMJM has been very popular. And we know that because they still make it. And we know that Martin phased out EVC, HTC, Retro, F1. We know that Martin phase out guitars.
Can you catch this if I give you a Halls? Oh. All right.
Thank you. That's better.
You're welcome.
That's better. Yeah, we know they phase guitars out and they still make it, so it has been very popular. Mark Henry says you would... Oh, hang on. Why can't I click on you, Mark? There we go. You would think of us devoted faithful would instantly recognize the sound of Maury's guitar. Well, remember, we haven't got Maury's guitar. This is either the OMJM or the OM28 custom with the Engelman top, like a clone of the original John Mayer guitar. So Maury's guitar versus these would be another. We won't even do that. We know that Maury's guitar would obliterate these guitars because Maury's guitar has had 10 years of gigging sweat all through it, and that's what makes it so special. Rowan says, I think I heard more complexity and chime in the first one. Whether that's the OMJM or the custom, I have no idea. One is more responsive to fingerstyle, so I think it might be Ingham and Top. We hear that a lot from Spoon Phillips. Maury, you're doing the same order both times, right? Or not? You are. Okay, yeah. Let's keep it like that. And Mark Henry says, I was always infatuated with the 0042 SC John Mayer, but not so much with the OMJM. That's right. There's actually a lot of different John Mayer signatures. There's been many over the years, haven't there?
I think 5, yeah.
I played the D45 John Mayer at NAMM. That was like 3 years ago. D45 John Mayer. That was interesting. It wasn't the best place to play it because it was such a huge hall. It didn't,
Sure.
I wasn't very impressed, but I think I wouldn't be impressed with anything in a hall that size. So it's fair enough. Okay, Mark Henry says, I was confused and now I'm awake. Good stuff. I'm drinking coffee from the Sandhole Sniffer mug. It's good times. There, focus. There. Got it. Cholarism says, I would consider a guitar with Stephen Stills' signature, but not many others. Interesting. Ooh. One is the fun. I'm not sure what that means. Joe says, not related to whether I like the particular artist, it just feels like wearing a coat with someone else's name on it. I don't really like the Tommy Emmanuel Maton with CGP inlaid on the fretboard. Yeah, I'm with you on that, because CGP means Certified Guitar Player, and that was awarded to only a few guitarists by Chet Atkins, and one of those people he awarded that to was Tommy Emmanuel. Oh. So I feel weird having that on my guitar because I'm not a CGP. So I personally don't think that should be on the guitar. He also has a kangaroo on the headstock because his guitar had a kangaroo picture on it. I think that's okay. His name's okay. CGP is a bit, I find that a bit weird, to be honest. I don't know, this is a whole topic here, isn't it? Have you ever been interested or owned an artist guitar, Maury? I don't think you have you?
Not enough to... I'm going to say no, but I don't mean that I'm in the camp of that I'm against it. It just really never... Nothing I really ever thought about in great detail. I've seen some really good artist models that I liked, but I don't go looking for them, and I don't have a problem when they come out. I'm just sort of in the middle.
For me, it's more about the specs, I think. Like, I wouldn't buy a guitar just because it's a John Mayer. Like, I don't like the neck on the Silver Sky, the PRS Electric. So I wouldn't buy that. I like the neck on the Fender version of his guitar. So I'd be interested in that. But I like some of the newer Fenders anyway. In fact, there's a Fender right now in their lineup that looks very similar to that guitar. I wonder how much of a coincidence that is.
When he went to PRS, he changed the neck shape.
When he went to PRS, the Silver Sky is very different to the Fenders, right? Yeah. It's similar sounding, but the actual guitar itself has got like plastic controls on it, and it's got plastic tuners, I guess, for the weight of the guitar. The neck is quite fat on those guitars. I like thin necks, as I always say, so I'm not a huge fan. The pickups sound fantastic, but I wouldn't buy that guitar just because it's a John Mayer, because I don't like the neck for myself. If I liked the neck on it, I'd have no problem buying it. And they made a smart decision with that to call it the Silver Sky and not the John Mayer PRS, right? It's the Silver Sky. Although his name is on the back, but it's not like obviously a John Mayer guitar because his name's not written on the headstock. So I don't know. I have to like the specs. If I don't like the specs of a guitar, I wouldn't buy it. And I think a lot of these artist guitars, I like them because of the specs. And someone just said that as well. Who said that just now? Oh yeah, the Clapton. Old says, I don't mind the Clapton because I love the features of the guitar. Besides, I can't see it when I'm playing it anyways. Yeah, the Clapton guitar has been hugely popular, hasn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, like I said earlier, you can always order a custom clone of the Clapton like we have here with the John Mayer, and then you don't have his name on it. But I presume you're going to pay more money for that, although it gives you the option of adding some making some changes. So it's a tough one, isn't it? Because there's no standard series guitar which is like the Clapton. If you want that V-neck shape and that guitar, you either have to do a custom or buy the Clapton. So either way, you're going to pay more than for a standard OM28. So that's really a choice that you have to make yourself. So I see lots of pros and cons there. I guess the truth is I do get sucked in a little bit with the signature thing. I guess I did with the Noel Gallagher because he was such a big part of my growing up. But if I bought that and didn't like the neck, I wouldn't have kept it. I would have sold it for sure. So that stuff is important to me. Hang on, let me catch up here. I'd buy a spoon model, says Mark Henry. Well, there was a spoon model, but they're all sold out now. Maybe it's time to bring it back.
Another run, yeah. They were good.
Yeah. I actually remember speaking to Maury a few years ago when he had one. I could have bought one myself. And I don't remember why I didn't. I remember thinking it's great. It's got a cutaway. I quite like the specs at the time. So that's cool. Yeah, perhaps you should bring that back. Yeah. Oh, Alan says, I thought number one sounded best. Well, I was only half listening because I was making that poll, but I still felt that number two to me had a bit more projection. So I'm going to stick with number two for now, but I need to hear more. Sometimes I find the fingerstyle a bit closer. Sometimes the strumming gives me more information with the low notes than the fingerstyle. Occasionally the fingerstyle gives me more information. I need to hear more examples. So we'll do another one in a second. And I'll show the pictures as well. Joe says it's particular to the person. I don't mind signature models, but not clearly labelled as theirs. I'd buy a nice watch, but not if it was engraved to somebody else. Right. That would be weird if you bought a watch and on the back it said, to Aaron from Maury, and you wore it. That'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it? Dr. McFarland has the Gil Paris and Greg Koch model Reverend, and they are great.
Ooh.
Yeah, but they're not obviously signature guitars, are they? There's nothing, their name is not written on the guitars at all. Spoon signature is a hog. I don't think it is, was it? What was the Spoon signature specs?
That was, no, it was Rosewood. It might have been either Madagascar or Guatemalan. And it was based off of a 21, so it wasn't hog. I want to say, wow, that's funny that I don't remember. Was it Adirondack?
I think it was Addy. I think it was an Addy cutaway. That's why I liked it. 5 or
10 of them. It was, yeah, but it was definitely, it was Guatemalan Rosewood. I remember that. That was awesome.
Okay, order some more, order some more, order some more.
Maybe we did.
Oh, here he goes again. Maybe we did already, Aaron.
No, I mean, on the website it might say that they're on order. I don't remember.
I'm searching Maury's music for Spoon. Nothing comes up. I guess you didn't call it the Spoon, right?
No, the name has to be this long if it's a custom shop instrument.
Okay, I'll search for that while you give us another example.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep on track here.
Guitar number 1. Guitar number 2.
Sustain.
Okay.
I'm just going to put that out there. If number 2 isn't the custom, then I'll either eat my hat or, like I said, it just sounds much fuller to me. Like, I wonder what people think in the chat.
Huh.
And I couldn't hold back that time. I'm just like, I've heard it in 2 examples now. It sounds much fuller and more open to me. Like I say, I almost didn't want to do this episode. I emailed Maury. So yesterday, Maury was like, Aaron, pick from the guitar from the current inventory. And I was like, well, I know you got that custom there. Shouldn't we compare that to the OM? Because you have an OMJM and that guitar. I know people want to see that from the John Mayer groups. I want to see it. And I'm really curious as a fan of guitars to know if a custom shop is worth the... I mean, let's face it, custom shop is even... The OMJM is not a cheap guitar. And the custom shop is more expensive than the OMJM. So you would assume that the custom version should be better, right? And this has been an argument or a discussion that's been online about the original OM28 John Mayer, how it compares to the OMJM. And people have made videos. And in some of those videos, some people do choose the OMJM for the fingerstyle. But mostly people say that the 28 version was like OMJM they say on steroids, right? Like everything's just bigger. And that's what I'm hearing here with the custom shop guitar. If that is the custom shop guitar, remember, I don't know. So I'm just going to be really embarrassed. I'm going to be happy for viewers that want to buy an OMJM if the first one is the OMJM, because I'm confused now. If I'm wrong, I'm going to be very happy for customers that are looking for an OMJM. I think Maury has 2 in stock right now. But as a person that has been listening to these guitars with Maury now for like a year and a half, that guitar sounds much fuller to me. So I know you know what I'm trying to say. I hope I'm right, and if I'm not, it's going to be really funny. So that's why I almost didn't want to do this episode. I thought if I get it wrong, I'll look. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Tell me in the chat what you think. Do you hear what I'm hearing, or do you disagree with me? Because I love the whole research angle of this as well, when you can't see the guitar. And I do think that holding the guitar, playing it in the room, seeing the guitar, and I do think all these things are important. But I love the fact we're just listening to the guitar only. I think that's so great. One day, Maury, I want to come there in person and actually do this in person, because that would be even more revealing, I think. But just based on sound alone, I hear more of an open sound. So is that indeed the mythological dovetail neck joint?
It
is. Or is Maury just playing the second one harder? No, I'm sure he wouldn't do that. I'm
not that ambitious. Come on.
Rowan says, I thought the Spoon Phillips had Guatemalan rosewood. I can't find anything about that guitar. I was even on Spoon Phillips' website. I can't find anything about that guitar.
Let me look.
I don't think it was called a Spoon Phillips guitar. If anyone can find out info, let us know. Kooky says the Clapton is very blues orientated. I saw your post in the Acoustic Guitar Forum, Kooky. Let me know how that's going, please, because what you're doing there is exactly what I've been thinking about the last few months. He's trying to make an IR which is shorter, Maury, so it hasn't got that long kind of wet sound that a microphone has.
Oh,
and
cool.
I often think that these guitars actually have the Fishman Matrix Gold Plus style pickup in them, and I've often thought that's a great pickup. It just has some of that quack, and if I don't really want the roominess of the IR, I just want that quack gone. And I've always thought that about undersaddle pickups, a good one like the Fishman stuff. If they could just get rid of the quack, which IRs promise to do, the problem with the IRs is they also add a lot of ambience. I never forget in the store years ago, a guy said to me, with the Aura, you don't need reverb because the IR adds this sort of reverb. And I get what they're saying. I'm not saying I agree with that, but they're saying it sort of adds the reverb. And that's what Kooky's trying to do, like shorten it. So you get more like the pickup sound, but with the smoother thing. I completely think he's on the right track with that. So keep me updated, Kooky, because my IR comparison video has been very popular. Old says, was the Spoon model his OM21 custom? Have you got any info, Maury?
It was a C21. Yep.
Is that on your website then?
No, I'm looking on his now.
C21.
There it is.
I'm sure that was on your website a while ago. I guess
it might be down because we just don't have it on order.
Okay. Let us know in the chat if Maury should order some more Spoon Phillips custom guitars.
Are you ready for these specs? I'll read some quickly to you.
Yeah.
Guatemalan rosewood back and sides, Adirondack spruce top, large sound hole, scallop 1/4-inch bracing. I'm going to put these in a text to my producer so he can read them. It's your show.
Roeth. I think Roeth would be interested in that guitar. He's a big fan of Spoon Phillips.
So am I.
Did it have a signature on the headstock or not?
No, nope.
His name wasn't on it. See, that's cool, isn't it? When someone makes a custom artist guitar, but they don't put their name on it. That's a good idea.
Well, in full transparency, if you guys are curious, what happened? This takes all the ego out of it. Spoon, came to us to design the perfect guitar, and we went back and forth a few times. And when he got it exactly right, and if you know Spoon, anytime he wants to give you something, whether it's a body of work, whether it's a mixed song, it's copy for the website, he's going to redo it and redo it and redo it and wait till he makes his mind up, because it takes a couple of days. But once he did, we asked him, this guitar looks remarkable. Would you mind if we order a few and sell them as a Spoon Phillips model? This was just something he wanted to do once, and one guitar for him. Lori and I approached him and begged him, could we make this a model, put some time and inventory money behind it, and sell it through the website. So he didn't try to do an artist model. He did his own, and we just thought, your connection with us is too strong. We're too proud of he's been working with us since since the beginning, 2003. We wanted to do this as, it's such a good idea to take it and allow other people to buy it. So this wasn't even supposed to be an artist model per se.
So when you make the Aaron Short artist model, you have to just put everything in it, because I won't never make my mind up what I like. So it'll have to be half mahogany, half rosewood, one of each tuner.
Yeah, probably.
Thank you to Mark Henry. Just bought me a coffee on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you for your support. And I had a few this week. I put them on the screen because I do appreciate you doing that for me. And it helps support the channel. And I'll put that in the chat as well in case someone else wants to do it. And I have been honestly, I have been drinking a lot of coffee lately. So all the money has gone on Starbucks coffee. So that's great. It's honest. It's real. BMO's here. Says thumbs up. Yes, please. Kooky still likes number 2 better. I need that growling bass. Okay, me and Kooky are in agreement here. I thought Kooky saying Spoon's model had an inlay of a hog instead of a kangaroo. No, when we say hog, we mean mahogany, Joe. And Kooky said, earlier on, Maury, how can you forget Spoon's signature back and side wood?
Shame on me. That's terrible.
That deserves one of these, I think. I'm going to get my money's worth from this thing here. Bimo says 1 is the OMJM, 2 is the custom. Jim says they sound the same. Well, Jim, I disagree there, but okay. Maybe on the finger style, but not on the strumming. I hear a big difference. Bimo says 2 sounded tighter. I'm hearing what Kooky's hearing with that bigger bass, more open sound. That's what I'm hearing. Does the custom have Engelmann as well? Yes, Roeth. I didn't show the specs today. We have covered these guitars in the past. The thing is, the tops are both Engelmann. The back and sides are the same. Let me show you some pictures, actually. I'm sure you want to see the pictures here. Let me just turn this one off. And we'll jump over to the pictures. And I'll just hide you there, Roeth, so we can see the guitar. This is the OMJM. Okay. So it's Engelmann top, rosewood back and sides. Very similar to an OM28, but with an Engelmann top. I love the rosette around the sound hole. I think every Martin should have that on the sound hole. I think it looks classy and great. I love that. And I'm not afraid to say that. That's one thing I'm sure of. I love that look. And there's his signature. You can see it on the kind of, which fret is that? The last fret, I'll say the last fret. The fret that we can't reach with our hands because there's no colorway. So that you see his signature right there. And if we look at the other guitar, which is the custom here, the first thing you'll notice is there's no signature, which some people will prefer. And I think the grain of the backwood is I prefer it. I love the back of that guitar. Let me just go back to the other one. You see? I mean, they're both fine pieces of wood, but I like the kind of plainer look to the custom. And yes, it's the same. Like we said, the main differences you're seeing here are in the neck joint. And the lack of inlay. The original John Mayer guitar had inlay around the bridge and the headstock as well. These don't have that. Whether that affects the tone, we don't know without comparing it to a John Mayer original. You know, the original one also sounded good because they're all over 10 years old now, and I do think that makes a difference as well. So, am I missing anything about the differences? The bracing's the same, right, Maury? It's the neck joint that's the main difference, right?
Exactly, yeah.
We don't know what the rating of the wood is on the custom, do we? Is that just a standard top, or is that an upgraded top?
That's standard.
That's standard, but I get a feeling that the custom shop used the higher grade if they can, because that looks quite nice on that one. Yeah, so I mean they're very close apart from the neck joint. And I wish our friend was here that often talks about the neck joint, because that would be who is that? Dovetail.
Dovetail or die.
Dovetail or die. Hey, Dovetail or die, if you're watching this show right now, that was your chance to shine, and you're not here.
Yeah, right.
Kooky says, all you need is a 99 OM28 VR. Well, that's because you own one, Kooky. You're completely biased with that comment. Come on. Skip Russell says, I like number 2. Definitely sounds fuller and with a wider sonic range. Okay. Olds Found Spoons on YouTube. Triple OC21 with an Addy top, Guatemalan rosewood, vintage thin finish, hide glue, and large sound hole. There's some nice specs there. Why did he go for a 21 and not a 28? I wonder.
I remember there's a story behind it. I think it was a guitar he used to own was a 21. More of an emotional attachment and I think that it might have been to do with tone too, but I think that's part of what he used to own, something like that.
Kooky says, if Aaron ever comes to Maury's store, he'll find out that Maury has to tape new cracks in between songs on his guitar. I don't think so. When's the last time you had to fix something on your guitar?
Had to or really fixed it? No, I haven't. Nothing's gone wrong with that in a long time. Besides, it's falling apart at the hole. It's in good shape. I probably need a new nut soon, honestly.
Colin says, I agree with Aaron on the sound. I wouldn't buy a guitar with a performer's name on. I also believe these two are long scale, which I don't like. I prefer short scale, but I do like number 1. Interesting. Yeah, these are long scale. Yeah. Oh, the Clapton is short scale. Yep. Peter Gregg is here. Nice afternoon. Sounding great, he says. Good to see you, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
Kooky says, Aaron, you can try yourself with your audio interface if I send you the noise I have. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. Send me the standard ones you were making before, which was very successful, and then send me your new iterations so I can compare them. That'd be great. Did Boss launch their new IR thingy yet? Yeah, they did. They've released it, and it's getting good reviews. And it was interesting because Pete Thorne did a demo today, and he actually used acoustic IRs in it. And he was saying that they sound better. They do sound better, but not as good as Kooky's IRs. So, Mark Henry says scale length on the Spoon Phillips. Everyone's interested. John Mayer, who's that? They're all talking about the Spoon Phillips 21 because you can't get them anymore. That's how it works in this game. You can't get any more. I want it. You can't buy any more. I want it. That's how I am. What was the scale length, Maury?
That was short scale.
Short scale. A triple O with a colorway would be awesome. Alan Coleman says, Aaron should have 7 guitars with the names Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. Yeah, it's a different guitar for the day of the week. Good point. Lee says, I have no idea. Every time you play, I have to deal with stuff at work. Sorry, Lee. Well, go and focus on the work and then come watch the replay this evening with a nice glass of wine and let us know in the comments which one you favored.
Yes.
Kooky says, I don't own a 99 OM28BR. I thought it was... Oh, yeah, Maury's is a 99 28BR.
No, it's not.
98, isn't it?
98, yep.
Kooky's not paying attention. Boss IR and EQ. Yeah, so that's another Yet another way to amplify your electric guitar. It does sound good, but we're not spoilt for choice with the old ways to amplify your guitar, are we? And then there's Maury just plugging into his tube amp every Saturday night. Oh no! Look out! Uh-oh. Dovetail, I call him DOD, so I don't get flagged by YouTube, is here. And, well, this is your day, Dovetail. The biggest differences between these two is that one is a custom shop instrument, but the biggest difference that we've decided really is that one has the dovetail neck joint. One has the simple dovetail neck joint. So, this could be your week to shine. I'm glad you're here. Poo Ninja says, Graphtech or bone? Well, here's the thing. On Maury's website, he does say that the custom shop guitar is Tusk, which is normal when they put a pickup in the guitar. But I know the OMJM has a Tusk saddle, but I know the original John Mayer guitar had a bone saddle. But Maury has since told me that the custom has a bone saddle. Are we sure about that, Maury?
We are. Is that a typo on the website?
Yes.
This is bone. Yep.
You're sure? So, okay,
Absolutely.
okay. To be fully transparent, then the saddle is also different. So, if that's a bone saddle, and I know the OMJM is Tusk, so this has now become also about bone versus Tusk. Some people swear that bone saddles have a bit more a low end. So it could be the saddle, or it could be. I'm going to assume this is based on if I'm right. I would put it down to a combination of the two things. But I think that I've done comparisons before of different saddles, and while I do think there's a difference, I don't know if I thought there's that much of a difference. But that's another thing we're going to factor in then. Trellerism says, I guess they cut some costs by not having the rosette go through the fingerboard. Yeah, I think that's a preference thing, isn't it? Kooky says, I think you do not understand. I can't send the whole thing in a file. You have to work on it. Oh, so you can't make me the IR? I have to do it myself? Okay, we'll talk later on. Spoon-like short scale due to an injury. All right, easier to play, right? Less tension. Kooky says, yes, 98. That was a good year. Did you hear that, Rosanna? Aaron said I have to have wine when I get home. I hear you often whine when you get home, Lee. I meant in Maury's guitar when he goes to replace it. Oh, okay. So, if you have to replace the nut on your guitar, would you get a bone nut or a Graphtech nut? Good question.
Bone. Probably bone.
The nut width of the OMJM is killing me. Why dovetail or die? I have to admit, there's two reasons I didn't keep my original John Mayer. One was the price. I just felt like I didn't want to have something that expensive in my closet and not use it. And the second one was the nut width. But I've since decided I'm okay with that nut width. Again, I think it's what you get used to, and it's also what you read on internet forums as well. Some people are very much against narrow nut. And I've always said this lately as well. I find I get used to things. If I play something all the time and then play something else, I get shocked. I don't really get that shocked with a nut width. I don't think those two nut widths are that noticeable. I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but I don't think it's that noticeable. Then again, I play a lot of electric guitar lately, so I'm also used to a narrow nut width as well. Lee, that means I have to... Oh, look at it. They're going to be having lots of wine at their place later. Good thing I live in America. They might be on your website, Maury, ordering custom guitars and a few glasses of wine.
It's not a good thing.
As long as the wine is French, says Kooky. Poo Ninja says, thank you, Maury. Rosanna says, as long as the wine goes with beef stew and dumplings. Lovely. Jasper's here. Good to see you. Jasper is who asked you to play more fingerstyle. So we'll end the show with some more fingerstyle. What size bridge pins does Maury recommend for a 0028? Will size 1.3 damage the guitar?
1.3 is the correct size. It will not damage.
Oh. There we go. And Maury does sell bridge pins and saddles on his website. Okay, so my mind is made up, but I think we should just clarify this. Shall we do another run through? Maybe you can do a bit longer, like fingerstyle and strumming. Yeah, or whatever you want to do, or play one of your songs. Maybe play an original. Whatever you want to do, I'll let you decide. But I want to just hear them again. So let's go over here.
Fingerstyle coming up.
Okay. This is for you, Jasper.
Guitar number 1. Guitar number 2.
Are we safe to go back?
We are.
Okay, let me know in the chat what you think. I want to address a comment I had on Facebook when I posted the link on the John Mayer gear page thing. Someone said, cool concept for today's stream, but some would say, and we'll just discuss this, Maury, some might say that a more accurate test is if the player can feel a difference. 95% of the audience probably couldn't tell the difference in the sound of a Strat or a Les Paul, and guitar players still obsess over the slightest detail. Now, I just want to discuss this comment because we've talked about this before, and I see this online all the time. Let me just give my side, and I'll ask Maury for his side. And I'm not saying I'm offended by the comment, by the way. I just want to give my opinion on it. I think about this stuff quite a lot. First of all, clearly we're obsessing today over small things because I'm making a live stream about the difference between two guitars. So I don't dispute that at all. And I think even today it's quite a minor change. The thing about Strat versus Les Paul, I mean, for me, that's a much bigger difference, of course. So different guitars, different pickups, different brands. But I was just thinking last week, I do understand that none of this stuff really matters from like a work point of view. Like, I know I could go to my gig next week and take a $200 guitar with a Fishman undersaddle pickup. And if I played the songs they want me to play and I sang well, I'm sure I would still, it wouldn't matter to the audience. It wouldn't. I think it would matter more to me, because I just want to enjoy the feel of the instrument I'm playing, the sound that I'm hearing from the speaker. And on the flip side of that, there has been 2 bar managers that have pointed out to me they didn't like the sound of a plugged-in guitar with an unsettled pickup. So some people do hear that stuff. In fact, I believe one of the performers that didn't get asked back, actually, I believe that was the reason. I believe that the person knew that sound and didn't like that sound, and that was enough for them to I mean, maybe there's other things as well, but based on my experience, I'm trying to be careful what I say here. Based on my experience in the past, that stuff can matter if the person at the venue knows about this stuff as well. For example, if they're a musician. I think a lot of venues where they're not a musician, they wouldn't even notice. And therefore, I completely agree that I think it's more about the song and the performer than any of this stuff. So I don't disagree with that comment, but I'm also very aware of what we're doing here. You know, we're putting these things under the microscope because this is what we're into. I mean, Maury sells guitars. I'm a huge fan of guitars. That's why I made the YouTube channel about it. And I'm sure people in the chat are big fans of guitars and into this stuff as well. But let me know in the chat what you think about that, because I don't disagree with it. I really believe that I could buy just a decent speaker and a decent guitar with a decent pickup and work professionally. I don't think it's what we say matter. I think it more matters to me. That's my thought. What do you think, Maury?
Well, I think the specific crowd we have here, I think, would be able to tell a Strat from a Les Paul. I think that you lost me a little bit on that part. It's your opinion, my opinion. There's no right or wrong, but I would think that somebody that's tuned into this to see if the dovetail neck joint makes a difference. If somebody, this could get really long, and I don't want to ramble, but you could certainly do all you can to trick somebody with a Les Paul to make it sound like a Strat if your idea is to fool people. But if you buy a Les Paul because you love the Les Paul tone and you're playing a Les Paul because of what it does, I think that's going to always sound different enough from most Strats who are taking that same attitude. They want a snappy Mark Knopfler, David Gilmour sound. You're not going to think that, Pink Floyd is a Les Paul like that. That I didn't follow, but yeah, if you're to tie in to Aaron's point, I think as long as you're inspired at your gigs, Aaron, and you sound good to yourself, you're going to be better. And if you had to, your guitar didn't work that night and somebody had to loan you one and it was an undersaddle pickup, you'd be frustrated and it might show. So some of that has some truth, but I don't know. I think his point about comparing these two guitars, how they feel, no question, that would be the very best thing. But that's the one thing we really can't speak to with an online presentation like this.
Yeah, and I can ask you that when we reveal the answer. I'm going to ask you what you feel to play them and what you're hearing in the room, or not right now because you're wearing earphones, but when you've played them, I'll ask you that question when we do the reveal. Yeah, I don't mind that comment. I mean, that comment is in the John Mayer gear group, and again, my point, I'm not having to go other people. If I'm going to be in groups discussing John Mayer's rig and making live streams about the differences between 2 guitar models that are essentially almost the same, obviously I do think there's a difference, and I care about the difference. But I don't disagree that you need. I don't make it clear. I don't feel you need this stuff in order to be a musician. I don't think that at all. In fact, I think the opposite. I just think I have an interest in this stuff, and that's why I do the stream, and that's why the people here have that interest as well. All right. So DOD says, I play too much fingerstyle to play narrow nut width. I have trouble with the narrow nut. To be fair, it's also depending on how you play and everything. Like, my fingers are quite narrow, so maybe it doesn't affect me as much with that stuff. Like I said, I play a lot of electric as well, so I kind of go between the two. So yeah, I get that. I know a lot of people don't like the narrow nut width and prefer the wider nut width. I assume that's why Martin make most of their guitars now with the wider nut width as well, to be fair. They don't really make many with the narrow nut, do they?
No.
That would be more of a custom order. They're talking about the whine over in the chat, which is fine. Perhaps we should do whine in guitars. Old says, what are the tone woods on the custom? So the top is Engelmann and the bag and size is rosewood, same as the OMJM. That's the same.
Yep.
Jasper, thanks thanked us for the extended finger style. Which makes the prettiest patterns go to the custom shop? No, I just said that, Poo Ninja. I just made that comment. I'm just guessing. I assume at Martin, if they have a bunch of tops that are graded the same, the ones that they felt were again better would go to custom. I'm just assuming that custom shop gets a little bit of extra attention. Maybe I'm wrong to assume that. I don't know. I have no info on that.
No, it's a little bit of a blanket statement, but if they're building this custom OMJM, the day they're building 3 or 4 other things, they are gonna pick better wood goes to the custom shop than doesn't. But it's when I say that could really be a big slippery slope. I don't mean all customs get better wood than all of anything else, but yeah, that you're right to say that.
John was hoping you were naked in the previous scene.
Say again?
In
Wow.
this one here, he says you
Oh,
could be
wow.
undressed.
Well, I'm not gonna touch that.
Please don't. David says sounds nice. I really like the sound of number 2. Yeah, I'm still with number 2, but I'm interested here because like Alan is saying I like number 1. If everyone had the same taste, what a boring world it would be. Well, I agree with that. Maury could gig with a decent guitar, but he has access to a whole shop full of Martins. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Billy Gibbons had a programmable EQ that basically EQ all his guitars to fit his tone. That's cool. I wish that the 0015M had 1 3/4 inch nut short scale. Is the 0015M narrow nut then?
Yeah.
And Rosalind, you're late. Hi from Connecticut. That's why you have to go back and watch the replay later. I want to know your opinion on this stuff. So I think we should start to wrap up. Let me show the pictures one more time. And I want you to put in the chat which one you prefer. In fact, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to do the poll. Let me just set this up. Because I often think when I say which one you prefer, some people might not want to put their answer. If we do the poll, it will be anonymous. So let's end the first poll. Let's see what people are saying to my first poll here. And I'll make another one. So on this one, I'm going to say, do you prefer guitar number 1 or guitar number 2? Yeah. So the results of the first poll. Are you a John Mayer fan? Yes, 46%. No, 37%. His body is a wonderland, 15%.
That was really an answer.
Yeah, it was real. So let me make a new poll. Okay. Do you prefer guitar number 1 or 2? And the answers will be either 1 or 2. So let me just make sure I spell everything correctly. Do you prefer guitar number 1 or 2? 1, 2. Okay, so I'm making a poll. So please answer the poll. Do you prefer the sound? Remember, we're talking about the sound today of guitar 1 or guitar 2. I just posted that. And then while you're answering that, I'll go through the chat and then we'll reveal the answer. Here's the pictures again of the 2 guitars. Not that that really matters today. We're talking about the sound. I think you have 2 of these OMJMs in stock, right, Maury?
Yes, sir.
So check those out on his website. That's one. And this is the custom. Okay. And then let me go through the rest of the comments, make sure we answer them all. Chalerism says, the rosette going through the fingerboard is John Mayer's custom touch on his other signature guitars. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I tell you what I'll do. As I've gone through the comments, Rosin says they'll watch later. I'm going to bring up some of those guitars, I think, on the screen because you're busy answering the poll right now. So what was there? I know it's the John Mayer Stagecoach guitar.
Yep.
I'll just throw a picture up. If I can find a good picture, I'll throw a picture up on the screen and we can check out some of his others. I mean, that was very, very fancy looking. Let me just get this one. I'll just throw it up on the screen here. Look at that. Now that doesn't go through. But it's very fancy. That is a custom shop 0012. Oh, actually, no, that's not the guitar, is it?
Nope.
Oh. My bad. That's what came up when I Googled it. Let me find the actual guitar. Isn't that crazy? Sometimes you look for a guitar on Google and you can't find it. I was looking for pictures of the 28 earlier. I couldn't find that either. Okay, here it is. This is it. All right. The Stagecoach from 2016. Yes, you're right. It does go through it does continue through the neck. And that's nice. Did you have any of those when they released those, Maury? Did you buy any of those?
No, we weren't able to get any. That was a really tough model to get.
And then there was the D45 that I played at NAMM. Did you have any of those? The D45, John Mayer's?
We might have had one. I'd have to double check. I think at most we had one.
D45 John Mayer. Oh, there's a prototype here that was for sale. Wow. Just throw that up here. You can see he likes the bling. He's a fan of the bling. And you're right, it does go through as well. Yes, you're right. I didn't know that. Wow, a D45 and a John Mayer model. I bet that didn't have a simple dovetail.
That probably had two dovetails. I wonder if there's a simple dovetail or die account that could join us.
Was there anything else? There was the Stagecoach, the D45, the OM 28, which is obviously the most famous. That's the one he plays all the time. And there's a great video on Martin's channel of them repairing it. Was there another one
that I can't think of now? I thought there were 5.
John Mayer, Custom Martin. Why can't I think? Well, there's the one they just made for him, of course, that we talked about with Spoon. This one here.
Yeah, that wasn't a John Mayer model. That was a gift, wasn't it?
This was a gift, yeah. You can't buy this one. And I can't show the picture for some reason. But you're right, actually, that goes through there as well. So that's a good point. Was there another one? I'm just searching for Custom Martin John Mayer. I think that's it, isn't it? I know they've gifted him several. I think they gifted him a Turs guitar, small body guitar. But actual artist models, I think that's it. The Stagecoach, the D45, the OMJM, the OM28 John Mayer. I can't think of any more. I think that's it. And then the new one that's based on the SC13E. That's all. Is this it here? Sometimes it doesn't show pictures. It's very strange when I drop them in there. Anyway, you've seen that before on the other show. But the one they gifted to him is let me just try over here. Hang on.
That's the Johnny Cash.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Johnny Cash. I gotta say, I really like that. Now, okay, I would not want that with his name on the fretboard like that. No, of course I wouldn't. That's way too much. But if they made this model like that without his name on the fingerboard, I think that'd be great. Like a really fancy stage guitar. Especially if they did some new fandangled Aura HD pickup in it. I think that could be a great stage guitar. Aura HD. It's around. It's coming. Next year should be fun for all the new gear that wasn't released last year.
Yeah, right.
They're using it in some models in the Modern Deluxe, aren't they?
They are.
All right. So here we go. Let's end this poll and see what we say. 1 second. I'm ending it now. I have to wait a few seconds to get the results and then I'll reveal them. Okay, end poll. Okay, I hope you voted. I got 26 people watching. I hope you all had an opinion. Tyrone's here. How you doing, buddy? Been a long time. My buddy from Australia. Okay. What? Oh no, 16 votes. I thought I had 3 votes. I was like, come on, people. 16 votes. Okay. What do you think? Maury, what do you think they voted for? 1 or 2?
Honestly, I think 2.
I think 2. I think 2. I don't want to say it's better because number 1 didn't sound bad, but 2 sounded for me fuller and bigger, and I always assume that's what people are looking for in the sound of a guitar. Maybe I'm wrong. But the votes reveal that 16 people voted, and 68% do indeed prefer guitar number 2. 31% prefer number 1. So I thought it might be higher. So it's interesting to know that people did prefer. I did like the first guitar. Interesting. But I definitely think, for me, I would definitely go for 2, and that's why I'm really hoping that number 2 is the custom shop guitar. So, are you ready for the big reveal?
Yes.
We're going to come over here to the other screen. I have a drum roll. Let me get it ready. And then once the drum roll ends, I'm going to remove the cover, and we're going to see which guitar. Let's do which guitar was number 2 then. I'm saying guitar number 2 was the custom shop. So I'm going to do a drum roll, and then I'm going to reveal it, and then you can tell us what the model is, okay, Maury? In case we can't see. Okay, here we go. I'm in suspense. And
the custom.
I was right. I knew it.
You knew it.
I was worried. What would I have done if I said, "Oh, that one is much bigger sounding. That's definitely the custom," and it was the OMJM? That would have just really messed with my. I'm not saying I always get these right, because often in the past I haven't, but I was so sure about this one.
Oh. You made a really good point, though. Assuming that a lot of people in the chat think that the second guitar was fuller, is that automatically desirable? Because maybe, I don't want to imply that fuller means more bass, or I don't want to imply anything really. But does a fuller, bigger sound always or most always equate to attractive, or is that what you lean for? Did some people in the chat recognize that the first guitar wasn't as full and prefer that? I'd love to know that.
Let's ask that. Now we know what it was. Let's ask in the chat for the last few minutes then. Now you know what you know and you've heard what you hear. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because that's sometimes something I don't ask. Like I said, which do you prefer? Okay, let's discuss now. Why do you prefer that? Right, for me, I enjoyed the fact this one was bigger and fuller sounding. I've often, when I first got my first OM28, I always thought it would sound bigger. So I do like that. I don't understand why some people just look for the biggest sound they can possibly find, like a Dreadnought with the loudest, biggest. Maybe you can have too much of a good thing as well. I think with an OM, it's good if you find one that's a bit bigger sounding, personally, because then you get the comfort of the guitar with the bigger sound. I think that's a good thing. I wish I knew if it was the saddle or the neck joint that we're hearing. If Spoon is watching this in the future, please let us know in the comments what you think is making the difference, and indeed if you agree there is a difference, and if you do, what do you think is causing the difference? Because this stuff does matter to me. Like I'm always looking to figure out. The wonderful and frustrating thing about guitars, especially acoustic guitars, or any gear really, that like a guitar, is what makes that the way it is. And sometimes there isn't an answer, because it's just that guitar as well, right? But I definitely feel I can put something to rest. And I've wondered this question for a long time. Like the people that have spent the money on those OM28JMs, a question you might ask yourself is, why not just buy the OMJM, right? Well, obviously it's a collectible instrument which may go up in value. I don't blame them for that. But I do think there's a big difference in the sound. And I always thought the sound of that one I had was good. I always thought it sounded big. And I liked that. And I should have kept that. Anyway, let's go through let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think it's a good thing if something sounds bigger, or do you think it's just different? Give us some more info. And then for you, Maury, playing them there, do they feel or sound different to you in the room? Is there any kind of like feeling you get from if you were blindfold now, would you be able to tell which one was which, do you think?
Well, maybe after a few passages I could tell. I think they both feel identical or almost identical. And when I mean that, like left hand, the way that the strings, the strings in the neck feel, not necessarily feedback from when the guitar's vibrating, but just the feel of playability. I think they were, neck and neck. I didn't mean to make a pun, but sound-wise, when I'm playing them, I do feel like, at least under ear, and don't forget, you guys have the best seat. I have the worst seat. You guys are hearing this into stereo microphones, and I'm hearing it behind it with earphones in. This guitar, the custom, did seem fuller, and there was a bass and a low mid-range that was a little stronger, especially strumming. I'll tell you the truth, for better or worse, I don't know if this is going to make me sound like I know a lot or very little. I couldn't tell much of a difference behind the guitar when I was playing fingerstyle. It was the strumming and the real deep, E minor stuff that showed me this is a little bit more powerful. What I didn't do, and I don't know if it's better that I kept the same order every time, I have not yet played the OMJM and this, and then the OMJM. I wonder what the OMJM sounds like to me right after playing this, because this was always second. But after this, the interest we have in this chat, I think before I put these guitars away on the shelf, I should do a comparison video again. And what I'm going to do, even if it doesn't show up on the YouTube video, I'll play them. And after I do the OMJM, compare it to this, I'm going to go back to the OMJM, with this being the second thing in my mind, not the final.
Old says, I think all differences we discuss, tone, wood, bracing, etc., may not all be obvious in blind tests, but I think an audience feels and hears these subtle differences, even if it's not huge. Well, I don't know. I think people that don't play... I think the people that don't play a guitar, they just hear a guitar. How often have you heard that? They all sound the same, like the guitar is a guitar. If you don't play or have an interest in that thing, sometimes the thing is just all the same to you. But I just think, for me, I'm the one that feels it. And some of it is very shallow as well. Some of it is, I have a custom guitar, and it's this guitar and it's this wood, and I feel that. But I don't know. I just stand by the fact that this stuff is for the player. It's not for the audience. If you hear, there's a video of John Mayer playing a cheap guitar, cheap amp at next to someone's swimming pool, and it sounds like John Mayer.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a Dumble and a PRS to sound like John Mayer. He sounds like John Mayer through a toy guitar and a toy amp. He still sounds like John Mayer. It's a bit like wine tasting, isn't it? I like wine. I can't tell the differences between different wines. I just either like it or I don't. So I think, because I'm not a wine connoisseur, but as more of a guitar connoisseur, that's a horrible phrase, but you know what I'm trying to say. I care about this. I'm more interested. I care about that stuff more. Some people don't. It doesn't mean they don't like guitar. It just means they're not interested in all the fine details like I am. So, Roslyn loves the Stagecoach. I should learn something about Olivia. Yes, I should. I like that song. Rose says, I'm really gassing for a small 12 fretter now, but that 0042 SC is too pricey. Mayer does that on the Stagecoach model. Yep. Roeth, how about an all-hog 0015 SM? Fender should make a John Mayer Acoustasonic and ask Fishman to capture all John Mayer's Martin and Silver Sky. Yeah, good to see you, Tyrone. We used to do gigs together back in the day. Now he's back in Australia. Good guy. He plays Maton. If you're from Australia, you have to play Maton. We back, baby! 12 fret and wide fretboard, says Olds. Much love from Vancouver, Canada. Maury, did you neck reset an SC13? Have you done any work on an SC13 yet?
No, I have not.
We are flooded here, but we're still enjoying life. Hope you're okay, Lewis.
Oh.
Roa says, Olds, I was thinking of something smaller, like an O or a double O. A Blue Ridge BR341 may fit the bill. If only we knew someone that sold Blue Ridge guitars as well as Martin guitars. That'd be great. Cholorism, the original OM28 John Mayer did not have the fingerboard rosette, but it did have an outline border around the headstock and the bridge. That did not make it an OMJM. Yes, because that would add more to the cost. And they did look very cool. The kind of tinfoil look around there. It's nice. And the person that ordered the custom GPC a few weeks ago kind of did that. They put the inlay around the headstock, which I liked.
Yeah.
So you can still do it, but you can't do it in the exact same way, of course. Rosalind says, Olds, I have one of those and it's awesome. I also want you to play them now that we can see them, to see if there's a difference when we can see the guitar. That's a great idea. Can we do that quickly?
I can.
Okay, your wish is our command.
So this is 2. This is the custom.
I felt like that time I heard less of a difference. Why is that? The two times you played them and I couldn't see them, I heard such a massive difference. I even had to comment straight away, I know which one is the custom. And yet sitting there watching you play them and listening, I didn't hear much of it. Is it because I'm processing visually what's going on? What is it? What is the reason?
I'm not a doctor, but it has to have something to do with sensory perception. There must be some component to it that tricks. I don't know. Maybe optical illusion's the wrong word, but something about now that I see it, you're making some infinite decision unconsciously, and you don't know you're doing it. And I don't mean all you guys. It's so unfair. I say this every time. I'm the only one that can't be wrong because I didn't play. I'm the only one who knew everything the whole time. But I'd be guilty of it as well. If I finally got to see these two guitars after an hour and a half, there must be something. Somebody tell me in the chat that I'm wrong. It has to be something to do with it. Now that you see what you're seeing, you convince yourself something before it happens, probably to a point.
But you would assume that you would convince yourself that the custom, as it's more premium, is the better sounding guitar. You'd assume when you see them, you'd say, right, the custom sounds better. But I didn't. Yeah. When I saw them, I heard there's still a difference, but I was questioning it more. I was thinking harder about it. When I couldn't see them, to me, the difference was huge. I was absolutely convinced. Now, maybe if I close my eyes, then I don't know. It's
yeah.
You can drive yourself nuts, but I like the way we do it without seeing them and get everyone's feedback. And ultimately, the sound of a guitar is very important. But it also just goes to show how the visual side of the guitar also affects what we think as well, and how the whole thing comes together as a package. So I don't know. It's great. I find it really fascinating. I enjoy it. It also makes me realize that there is no definitive, like, this is it. This is the perfect guitar. This is the final one. It makes you realize that as well. But it's really interesting stuff. And let me know if you disagree in the chat, if you still felt the same way when you saw them. Vic G says, I would equate the bigger sounding guitar to more premium quality woods. I think people do. I think the bigger bass and the bigger volume is what people assume that's a better guitar. That's what I see on forums all the time. And I get it. I totally get it. But maybe sometimes we don't want a really overpowering guitar as well. I know. I can't. We've spoken about this before. I can't think why you wouldn't, because you can just play it lighter, right? Yeah, so I can't think why you wouldn't. For me, the smaller body guitar is more about comfort. In the same way, a small tube amp versus a huge tube amp is more about carrying it to the gig, right? I'm sure the big one can sound much fuller, but you've got to carry that thing around with you. So
yeah.
But then sometimes the smallest amp can have a sound that's more appropriate for that gig as well. Tyrone says, I haven't heard the guitars. You can go back and listen again if you want to later on. This will be on the internet forever. You can watch it anytime you want. I think most of the difference in the sound of these guitars is the custom shop touch in the custom. It makes a difference. Yeah, you know, I like Martin for the name and the history. And then, of course, a custom shop guitar, you might argue that, well, it's made in a custom shop. It's got even more of that je ne sais quoi. But that's another reason I like doing these comparisons. Like, do they? Do they? It's a good thing. Alan says, as I said at the start, the custom was bigger and more powerful, but the JM was a much sweeter sound. That's what I look for. And that's what I've seen in comparisons with the original guitar, Maury. I've seen people say for fingerstyle, they preferred the OMJM because it suited that style better. But for strumming, they preferred that. There's also a video where they also compare an OM42 with them as well. And a lot of people actually choose the OM42. And that's another way you could go, because for that kind of money, you should also factor in the OM42 if you like the inlays, right? Because that's a similar kind of price range. Rosalind Nice, I'm thinking of a CEO7 or 0015, patiently waiting for their arrival at Maury's. I think if you like the neck, the CEO7 is a great guitar. I had one briefly. Really great guitar if you like that neck shape. New term, custom shopness. I, of course, would not be bothered with the OMJM. Yes, because you are a dovetail sniffer. Alex says, sounds great, nice and warm, softer woody tone. Engelmann really takes the edge off metal strings. Alex says, does anyone know why Martin doesn't offer VTS Engelmann? That's a good question. Have you ever seen a VTS Engelmann guitar? I've never seen that.
I don't think I have either. I don't know that they don't, or maybe, are you speaking from experience where you were told they won't do it, or you just don't see them?
No, I've never seen one.
I don't know.
That's a question for the custom shop next time. Alex says, OMJM sounds a bit brighter, more crisp, not necessarily better per se. Mark Henry says, now I like the custom. Can I change my vote? Tone vision. That's a great expression. Rosalind says, Ols, I have a CEO9, the 0015 SM I bring everywhere. The CEO9 stays at home. Both are great, but I do like those 12 frets. Good question. Which one is your favorite, Maury?
Of these two?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's the custom, but not by a mile. It's the custom.
BMO, my guitar quest is mostly over. 10 guitars in one. Hi from England. Cool. Yeah, I like the custom, but neither of them are very shabby, Zane. If you're in England, then check out Anderton. See if they've got an OMJM in stock and go try it. Old says, Roslan, I'm leaning towards 0015 SM. Makes me added confidence that you love it so much. Also cheaper. Yeah, but those CEO7s, did you say a 9? Oh, you said 9, sorry. I like the CEO7, but you have to like the neck shape to like the CEO, to go with the CEO7. David says, I would think the way you strum would make a difference between different players. Maury strums from the end of the fretboard back through the sound hole. Aaron strums straight through the middle of the sound hole. I tend to strum from the back of the sound hole. Yeah, of course, it all makes a difference. And hopefully when Maury was playing them earlier on, he was strumming in the same position.
I don't know where I was strumming.
We don't know because he was hidden. Alex says, I've found terrified Engelmann spruce tops for sale. Okay, they do exist, but Martin appears to not offer them. Can you find that out for us, Maury? I'd love to know.
Yes, I can. Andrew's in charge of the customs, and I will put that on his desk.
Yeah, we'd love to know if it's possible to order a terrified Engelmann top. Thank you. Lee is now driving home, but still listening. Be safe, Lee. We're starting to wrap up now. Old says Engelmann is pretty responsive out of the gate, so I wonder if VTS would sound similar. And Joe says, how would either the OMJM or custom compare to the OM28JM? Well, Joe, if you look on YouTube, there's some comparisons where someone's comparing the OMJM, the OM28JM, and the OM42. That's a good place to start. Listen to those videos. And I'm going to say nothing will compare to the OM28JM, will it? Because they're now over 10 years old. They're aged, and I don't know. If I knew someone that had one, that would be an even better comparison, wouldn't it? That would be a cool video to compare the custom to an actual OM28JM. But just remember, The OM28JM is no longer available. It was made in very small numbers, and it's always going to have that. Again, we talk about the thing that maybe doesn't matter. That to me matters. In fact, the fact you can't get it anymore, and it's such a kind of revered instrument. It's the cool factor, isn't it? Whether you're into that stuff or not, it's just cool because it's rare and it's limited and it's collectible. Sure. And whether you're into that or not, I'm not a collector, but I think it's cool. But I wouldn't pay the prices they're going for now, personally. I don't think it's that cool. Anyway, all right, that's just my opinion. So, I'm sure John Mayer would, though, if he needs a backup guitar. Alex says, long term, it'd be nice to order a custom with VTS Engelmann with no toner, like the Modern Deluxe. Okay, Maury will do some research and let us know next week, maybe. That'd be great. Sure. Let's just say let's say, first of all, please subscribe, ring the bell. I'm getting so close to 10,000 subscribers now. It's exciting stuff.
That's awesome.
So please, I had a few subscribers during our show today. I appreciate it. 9761. I'm so close. So make sure you send this to some John Mayer fans. They can subscribe as well. And this week, I'm going to do Gear Chat on Wednesday. There's always news lately for Gear, so I'll do Wednesday. And I'm going to do the Sunday concert as well. And I'm probably going to go live around Friday to talk about any Black Friday deals that are happening. I might have a special guest for that as well. So that's going to happen at some point after I've had my turkey dinner. And that will be later on, which shouldn't matter to people in the UK because you can't buy stuff in the Black Friday sales here. Oh, actually, well, they have it in England now, don't they, as well? But I won't be covering England because I'm in America. So, oh, hang on. What? Joe says, if only you were closer, I have an OM28JM. I'm in shock.
Wow. Wow. Be still your beating heart.
Joe. Congratulations, Joe. And Alex says you can get your own for just 12 grand. I think they're more than that, though, depending on the condition. Oh, congrats, Joe. Hey, Joe, send us a video. How about, because I had no viewers comment today. I had no viewers comment, which is fine because I had a lot to say about these guitars, as always. But if you could send me a video of you playing that guitar, that would be great. And we'll show it on the show next week or the week after. Here's my email to send that to. I'd really appreciate that. That would be really, really,
awesome.
That'd give me a real kick. Say hi at aaronshortmusic.com. Maury, so Thanksgiving is obviously this week. So what's your schedule looking like this week? Is it affected by that?
Yeah, we're going to do, tomorrow is the podcast on Tuesdays. Wednesday, episode 83, a virtual tour of our current inventory, 4 p.m. on YouTube. But Thanksgiving is going to interrupt Martin versus Martin. It's Martin versus Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is going to win. But I sent an email to my partner, and I asked Clayton if we could maybe move it to Wednesday or Friday, and I don't know yet. There might be a really, really late notice Wednesday or Friday version, but if I'm being honest, it's probably going to be put off by a week.
Very cool. And I want to say thanks to everyone for watching. Yeah, go subscribe to Maury and on his YouTube channel. Watch out for that. If you're interested in the OMJM, he's got 2 on his website. Go check those out. And he's got some other guitars too. Go check those out on his website, Maury's Music. And Colin says thanks for the stream. And Joe says he will do. Great.
Oh, awesome.
How cool is that?
Awesome.
So have no fear, people. The John Mayer discussion will continue even longer because you're not sick of it already, are you? Since at least I know half people here love John Mayer, so we won't lose half of our viewers next time. So that'll be great. Okay, Joe, yeah, please do. That's great. And give me some info. Send me some pictures. Let me know the history. Send me some video, and we'll show it on next week's viewers' comment or the week after, whenever you can do it. It'd be great. And so Maury, I want to thank you for doing this. I've really enjoyed it, of course. And I want to thank everyone for being here in the chat and offering your opinions. I love the way we also got into some great discussion about artist models and different tone woods and things as well. And of course, the dovetail neck joint. So that was really great stuff. And thanks for your time. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. And I'll be
yours. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be online during the week, and we'll do this again next Monday. So make sure you subscribe and send this to a friend. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Take
everybody.
Care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm not lost, but I'm not found. I'm not